UFO lands in Zimbabwe and terrifies entire school in Africa. This is an amazing encounter of the third kind. This is the Ariel school children. 20 years after it happened, the Ariel school sighting is still considered one of the most compelling UFO sightings in recent history. And we see the drawings of what the children saw, and they were, of course, very terrified and frightened of what the children saw. And these are they were elementary school children between 7 and 10, and basically they knew how to draw. Obviously, this is what the depiction was that they saw. Ariel School is a small elementary school in Eureka, Zimbabwe. In 1994, this remote school gained worldwide notoriety as ground zero for a UFO encounter with 62 witnesses. The story begins on the night of September 14th, 1994, 2 days before the incident, as the late MUFON field investigator Cynthia Hind recalls. Wednesday, 14 September 1994, was an exciting night for Southern Africa. Round about 2050 hours, a pyrotechnic display of some magnificence appeared in an almost clear skies of this part of the continent. She was referring to a strange event witnessed by hundreds, including scientists and astronomers. While reports vary, most spectators describe several flattened craft emitting a trail of fiery ejecta that lingered on the night sky. They all submitted similar drawings of the object in distress. The next night, the sky remained dark. Friday morning, at approximately 10:15, the UFOs reappeared, this time in front of 62 school children. The teachers at Ariel School were in a meeting and the children were playing outside when 3 silver spheres suddenly became visible in the sky. They soon disappeared in a flash of light, then reappeared in a different position in the sky. After 3 such displays of cloaking and uncloaking, one of the strange craft began descending and landing in an area covered in rough vegetation at a distance of about 100 yards. Quote, then a small man, about a meter in height, 3 feet, appeared on top of the object. He walked a little way across the rough ground, became aware of the children, and disappeared. He or someone very like him then reappeared at the back of the object. The object took off very rapidly and disappeared. The little man was dressed in a tight-fitting black suit, which was shiny, according to one observant girl, 11 years of age. He had a long, scrawny neck and huge eyes like rugby balls. He had a pale face with long black hair coming below his shoulders, end quote. The kid's description of the object's occupants fits that of our typical gray aliens, but with an interesting addition, the black hair. During the subsequent investigation, the school children turned in around 40 drawings, 22 of which are clear and descriptive. Most of these featured the classic disc-shaped UFO. But let's not forget, this incident took place in 1994 in rural Zimbabwe, so the children must have had little to no access to media sources. Plainly said, evidence suggests they drew what they really saw, as opposed to seeing something on the internet. And they were very adamant about it, too. One little girl told Hind, I swear by every hair on my head and the whole Bible that I am telling the truth, she said. Others were still frightened by the encounter. Their emotions were real and visible in the original interviews, and time has done little to fade the impression left on the young witnesses. 20 years later, they still vividly recall the strange event, as the video states. Skeptics have tried to debunk the incident, but even the most diehard of them has to admit it's difficult. So many witnesses describe the same event with accuracy and consistency, make for an airtight case. And this is on by Locklip on Humans Be Free. And of course, there is a description of this aerial UFO incident at the Ariel School. In Zimbabwe, they claimed 62 students there claimed that they saw one or more silver craft descending from the sky and land on a field near their school. one or more creatures dressed in all black approaching the children and telepathically communicated to them a message with an environmental theme. The Fortean writer Jerome Clark has called the incident the most remarkable close encounter of the third kind of the 1990s. The close encounter of the third kind. In ufology, the close encounter is an event in which a person witnesses an unidentified flying object. This terminology and the system of classification behind it were first suggested in astronomer and UFO researcher J. Allen Hynek, 1972 book, The UFO Experience, A Scientific Inquiry. So skeptics have described the incident as one of hysteria. Not all the children at the school that day claimed that they saw something. Several of those that did maintain that their account of the incident is true. Rua is a small agricultural center about 22 kilometers southeast of the capital, Harare. At the time of the incident, it was not a town but only a local place name, little more than crossroads in an agricultural area. Ariel School was an expensive private school. Most of the pupils were from wealthy white families in Harare. And 2 days prior to the incident, as we said, there had been a number of UFO sightings throughout southern Africa. There had been numerous reports of a bright fireball passing through the sky at night. Many people answered ZBC radio requests to call in and describe what they had seen. Although some witnesses interpreted the fireball as a comet or meteor, it resulted in a wave of UFO mania in Zimbabwe at the time. According to skeptic Brian Dunning, the fireball, quote, had been the re-entry of the Zenit 2 rocket from the Cosmos 2290 satellite launch. The booster broke up into burning streaks as it moved silently across the sky, giving an impressive light show to millions of Africans, end quote. Local UFO researcher Cynthia Hind recorded other alien sightings at this time, including a daylight sighting by a young boy and his mother, and a report of alien beings on a road by a trucker as well, according to Wikipedia. I'll leave links below for you for this. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.